Good morning, darlings. Sorry, my allergies are nuts. I don't know why. It's July. They should not be, but they are. So let's try this again. Good morning, darlings. Welcome to this week's recap of Look What Meg Found. If you're new to the show, I am Meg Campbell. I am the host of Look What Meg Found. And I spend my time finding you amazing, creative, and handmade small businesses that you might not necessarily have stumbled across. But I want you to see what they do, and I want you to understand how amazing they are. I've got a lot of them for you today, so I'm going to dive right in, absolutely right in, and we're going to do this. Oh, and apparently I'm going to yawn. I'm going to start with Kopan's Crochet. You guys have seen her before. We have talked about her before. She is amazing. We already know this. But I had a conversation with her about the fact that crocheted items are highly seasonal. They really are. You think of crocheted stuff when you think cold weather, stuffed animals, and holidays. And we were talking about the fact that it can be very, very used in your everyday life at home. So what we've put together is a kitchen essentials package, and I love it. So we are going to dive in. I'm going to bring everything over here because I have a fun stack. I've been playing with it. We'll start with these. These are dish scrubbies. Turn this down a little so it reflects less. These are dish scrubbies. These are 100% cotton. These are not the traditional ones you're used to seeing made out of like nylon netting or having a scrubby cloth in, a scrubby yarn in with them. This is just 100% cotton. It fits in your hand really well, and it folds down and gets in all those little nooks and crannies really well. This is my preferred item for washing dishes. Doesn't matter, horribly dirty, not very dirty. This is what I prefer. There we go. I have solved our lighting issue, darlings. I had my blinds up. But this is my absolute preferred method. This is what I use to wash my dishes all the time. I love it. This is not the one I use. Let's be honest. The one I use is in the sink because once you wash dishes with them, you know they get a little funky. This is her dishcloth. It's a great size. I will be honest, I prefer this for my dishes. I prefer this for cleaning my counters. But this, once you get it wet, texturally, it really picks up all the tiny little crumbs and things that were on the counter and gets them off the counter quickly. Now, I've said this in every single review I've done on these. There are two schools of thought when it comes to getting the crumbs and pieces of stuff off your counter. There's where you wipe to the edge of the counter and off into your hand and throw it away. And there are those that gather everything up to the center and pick it up in the rag and go throw it away. So my question is, are you team scoop it off the edge of the counter, or are you team pick it up with the dishcloth? It's just a curiosity question because I did not realize the world was so clearly divided on how you clean your counters. Now, something to be of note with these. One of the reasons why I prefer crocheted stuff like this in my kitchen is that these can go directly in the washer and dryer. So I use them. When I'm done, I throw them in a towel hamper. They get washed. They get dried. This reduces the amount of bacteria that hangs around in your kitchen because let's be honest, kitchen sponges are nasty. They really are. And even if you clean them correctly, sponges are nasty. I love the fact that these go in the washer and the dryer. And I will say you can use a color safe bleach with these, but they will fade a little. You will lose a little of your color. But these, I love these. I love how well they work. I love how well this one fits in my tiny little hand. And I love the way that this one gets up all of the crud on the counter without having to go back multiple times. It's a one wipe done kind of situation. Now, let's talk about something that I know we all have. We have the bag of bags. I'm laughing because you all know what I'm talking about. We have the bag of bags. All of your plastic bags that have come from the grocery store all get shoved in a bag and then get shoved in the closet or the pantry so you have them when you need them. This is a bag keeper. There you go. Now you see the whole thing. It has a little loop at the top so you can hang this wherever you want. It doesn't have a lot of weight, so command hooks will be your best friend. Stick one wherever you want. Personally, I keep mine in my storage closet because that's where I tend to go store everything, obviously. But you hang this up, you put all of your bags in through the top, and then when you need one, you just pull one right out the bottom. The bottom is also adjustable because the more you stuff this full, the easier they fall out the bottom. So you can tighten this up so that they won't fall out on you. Just grab one, pull it out. When you have more, you just stuff them in the top. I love this for organizational sake because you can put a lot of bags in this and it does not take up nearly as much space as my plastic bag of bags. Now, another thing we're going to talk about is a lot of places, multiple states have gone plastic bag free. A lot of people are very environmentally conscious, so they do not want to be using plastic bags if they can avoid it. So I have the solution for you. This is a market bag. Now, being a crocheter, I have made tons and tons and tons and tons of these. This is the best one I've ever seen. This has a solid bottom, so you've got good support in it. It's got really, this stitch pattern gives you a lot of stretch. And it's got what looks like a short handle when you get it. And then you realize that these bags stretch. And the way she's done this handle wider and shorter, your bag doesn't hang around your knees when you fill it up. Now, I get this question all the time. How much can you put in a market bag? So this particular one, you can tell it looks a little stretched. It won't be this stretched when you get it. This is what happens when you use them a little bit. But I have put 10 pounds of potatoes and 6 pounds of apples in this bag to see how comfortable it was to use and to carry. And other than it's a little heavy and you feel a little one-sided, this bag will hold it. The strap keeps it, the weight from being, like I said, down around your knees. And the bottom being like this gives it more stability when you put weight in it. It actually stretches a little less than you would think. So I love this bag. I highly recommend if you are in a state that is starting to phase out plastic bags, you look into getting yourself some market bags because these are obviously environmentally friendly. Also, when these get a little funky, you just chuck them in the washing machine. You know, that day that it's raining and you get your your groceries, and you wind up having to set this down outside to unlock your door and it gets dirty, you just throw it in the washer and dryer. That's all you do. And it comes back out in perfect shape. This is my favorite bag. Someone asked me if I was going to give it away, and I will be honest with y'all. This bag is being given away over my dead body. I'm rather attached to it. I love it. Now, last but not least, these two items go together. Again, this is another thing that I did not realize the world was divided on, but now I know. These are hot pads. They're 100% double layer cotton, so that they will really, really protect your hands. Good morning, Maggie. Now, when it comes to hot pads, I will tell you what I use hot pads for and what I use oven mitts for, because there's clearly a division in how I use them, and I didn't realize the rest of the world was not as crazy as me. I use hot pads for the tops of pans that get hot, like when I'm boiling water, you throw a lid on it so it boils faster. I use this to pick it up. I also cook predominantly with cast iron, so my handles get really hot. This gives me a way to hold onto the handle while I'm stirring and cooking without burning my hand. That is what I use hot pads for. I also use them as trivets when I pull things out of the oven to not scorch my countertops. These are perfect on all three of those counts. I can not burn my hands on anything, and I don't scorch my counters. And honestly, the counters are a little warm. If you put a hot pan on here and then you move it and you feel the counter underneath, it's a little warm, but it never even reaches like the level of being hot. So I love these. They're also the right size for the things I like them for. But when it comes to getting things out of the oven, y'all, I require an oven mitt. Why? Because I'm a spoiled princess. I do not like to stick my hands in the hot oven and feel all that heat on my skin. So I want my hand completely covered. These oven mitts do a great job of that. It's a couple inches below my wrist, and I don't ever go in the oven up to my elbow. So this is about right for me. I love the fact that you've got a lot of gripability. These move really well with you. They're not stiff. This is, again, a double layered cotton. I have grabbed baking pans that are in a 400-degree oven and not felt any warmth against the palm of my hand. I don't feel the heat from the oven on the back of my hand. I really like these. So for me, oven mitts are for getting things in and out of the oven. Hot pads are for handling hot things on the stove. Tell me what you think about that, because I may be crazy and I'm okay with that. Good morning, my darling Nancy. Now, we're going to switch gears. Y'all know I do this to you on the recaps. Let's talk about a book. This is I Just Want to Be Happy Again by Beth Elkassih. Beth Elkassih is a certified happiness coach. She is the owner of MadeYouSmileBack.com and also the owner of Achieving Happiness on Facebook. Beth is highly focused on the understanding that not everyone is happy every day, all the time. None of us are wired like that. We have moments that we're not going to be happy. But there are things that you can do to turn that around, not force, but to help yourself be happy again. This book is a look at things that cause you to be unhappy. Things from just having a bad day to having depression. What depression looks like for you, what depression looks like to the outside world when looking at you, and steps that you can take to combat it. And it is a phenomenal read. I'm not going to bore you guys by going into it in really, really, really in depth, because I'm not going to ruin the book for you. You guys need to get this book. But chapter 8 is the power of forgiveness can be a life changer. That is one that resonates with me. You can, if you really look at the things in your life that just aggravate you, 90% of the time for me, it is related to another person. And Beth's right. If I forgive them, then I am not carrying the burden of being angry at them, which is not bringing me down and making me less than happy. So I highly recommend this book. I think that everyone needs a copy of this book, and I think that everyone you know needs a copy of this book. So check this book out. All of Beth's information is linked in the description box. You guys already know this. Every single creator I go over on the recap, they are in the description box. If you are on Facebook, it is there. If you are watching us live on YouTube, it is there. But I highly recommend that book. I highly recommend checking out Beth. She is a genius when it comes to the things that you can do, the small things that you can do that can change your life and someone else's and make everyone a little happier. All right, you ready to pump the brakes and switch again? This is another crochet. I'm heavy on the crochet this week, and that is okay. I have been following the Hooking Reader for a very long time. I am a raving fan. I love her patterns. I love how they're well written. So when she came to me and asked me if I would be interested in doing a pattern review, because it's not really what you normally do, I jumped on it. I did. I crochet for fun. I would like to say I'm an above average crocheter, but I am nowhere near like on Marsha's level. I do this for fun. So she sent me 2 patterns. One is the Dinosaur Lovey, and one is her Unicorn Lovey. The Unicorn Lovey is, you look at it and you go, well, it looks a little different on the setup. This is her pre-release pattern. I got it before everybody else did, and it's kind of fun. But from a working on a crochet pattern point of view, the things you look for in a pattern, she nails it. I have done probably thousands of crochet patterns in my life, not exaggerating. And a lot of them you have to sit down and really dig to find the information, or you have to make notes before you can even start on it. I did not have that problem with hers. Everything, all of your supplies that you need are listed very clearly, right down to the yards of what you're going to need for each section. All of your supplies, all of the stitches you need to know, especially the things that you may not be really used to seeing. She's got it all right here. She has notes already for you that are critical for making this, because it is, a lot of this is left up to your imagination on colors and things like that. But there are things that you need to know. Like when making the blanket, it will not lay lay flat past round 3. Had she not told me that, I would have lost my mind making this because it doesn't lay flat. I went through the pattern line by line. Y'all, I followed the pattern exactly as written, which I have a bad habit of thinking I know what I'm doing and not. I did line by line, literally checked off every single pattern, every single row as I went. And I got to tell you, if you follow the pattern directly, you come up with the cutest little Lovey, whose hair is all messed up today. I love the fact that she has pictures of every single assembly step, so you understand how to put the ears on to get this little curved look to them. Why you center this here so you can put the ears here. I love her step-by-step on the Maine. Now, this is the same purple yarn that I used here, but I did not know this after my years of crocheting. You can take a hairbrush to it and basically disassemble the yarn so you get this fluffy look. I love it. And why this is called a Lovey is it's a stuffed animal head and arms connected to a blanket. So this is a good infant toddler gift. Plus, if you make this with acrylic yarn, you can chuck it in the washing machine. This guy's about to go in the washing machine. This has been well loved. I made this. I gave it to Laura, my daughter, who is, y'all already know this if you follow me. She's a bit of a destructo bot. She can and will destroy anything. So when I want to see how something's going to stand up, I give it to her. Other than it's a little dirty and could use a bath because it's well loved, this has stood up very well. So this is going to stand up to infants pulling on it, toddlers dragging it around by its arm or its mane or the edge of the blanket. Pattern-wise, this is really well written, extremely well written, step by step. She has taken into account the fact that these are meant to be played with. These are going to be played rough with, and combated that every single step of the way. And I also did the dinosaur. The dinosaur is really cute. I'm kind of loving this. Absolutely loving this. So if you are a crocheter or you know a crocheter, I highly recommend you check out the Hooking Reader. It's thehookingreader.com. Of course, all of the links are in the description. I love her patterns. I am really not always the best pattern follower because I've been doing this since I was 5. I can usually glance at a row and figure out what I'm supposed to do, but I went line by line by line. And I will tell you, whether you are a beginner who has just learned to read patterns or you are a well-established crocheter, these patterns are going to work very well for you. So I'm going to put my dinosaur back. That dinosaur's going to hang out with me for a while. He's adorable. Now, next up, I have Maine-made hats and sweaters. Don't say that one 3 times fast or you'll stumble over it. Maine-made hats and sweaters. She's just a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. I've known her for a very, very long time. I have looked at her bucket hats and went, I don't know if I want a bucket hat. Do I want a bucket hat? I've thought about it for a while. We dove into this review and I love it. This is her toddler size. When I say toddler, this is like 2 to 3 year size bucket hat. These are incredibly well made and sturdy, and they're not going to fall apart the 3rd time your toddler yanks it off their head and throws it on the ground. These are going to stand up to being worn by a toddler. I reached out to several friends that know her as well, who have toddlers who have worn these hats, to find out how they stand up, because I don't currently have a toddler and I'm out of the baby phase. So I really like the structural on this. I like the way it will fit on a head. I like the fact that this will, on a proper sized head, y'all have been wearing this for like 3 days. Y'all can laugh at me all you want to, but this will come down to their ears. It will cover up their face. And trying to get sunscreen on a toddler's face is some days akin to trying to wash a cat. So you can plop this on if you're going out for a little while and their face will be protected. We're going to talk about one more thing with kid life. With kid life, you already know that it is almost always possible to ruin a toddler's day by giving them the wrong thing. So picture this. You go to put the hat on the toddler and they are pissed because it's sharks and they don't like sharks today. It's okay. You can work a magic trick. Her hats are reversible. All of her hats are reversible. So if your toddler's mad about sharks, you can give them lizards. And you worked magic and you're the perfect parent. Now I'm putting my hat back on. I have actually ordered one of these in my size. We're going to mini pearl it today with the tag too. But I still wear this one around because it's just funny and it's adorable and I really like it. But I have ordered my own hat, and when it comes in, y'all are going to love it. I will post it everywhere because y'all are going to love it. She does custom orders so that you can get the right hat for you. And boy, did I use that privilege when I ordered mine. I also ordered my husband one that is shades of gray. It's 2 different shades of gray. He's much more low-key than I am. But I can't wait for you guys to see the one I ordered for me. She also knits. It's not just sewn products. She also knits. This is her 6 to 12 month size Santa hat. I love it. I really do. It is very structurally, it is very sound. It is a very thick yarn so that it will be very warm, because honestly, let's be honest, if you had a hat like this around the holiday seasons, you'd probably wear it all the time. This being her kid size, she paid attention to a detail that I had not even considered. This pom-pom is knitted. Well, if the camera will focus. This is a knitted pom-pom rather than being one made from yarn, because when you're thinking about little people, they pull. And if you have a standard pom-pom, they can pull the pieces off and then it becomes a chewing and a choking hazard. So I love the fact that this is a knitted pom-pom. This hat is adorable. And I will say she makes this hat all the way from newborn to adult extra large. So it is July, which means Christmas in July, which means, are you already thinking about your family holiday photos? I've been thinking about it since January. I think that everyone needs to get a full set of these hats and do family photos in them this year for the holidays. Oh, let's talk about people who work in industries where your head needs to stay covered at all times, where your hair has to be up in a hat, specifically medical workers, because that's where we're all going when we think about it. But let's be honest, restaurant workers, anybody who works around chemicals, a lot of factories require them. If you need to keep your head covered, why not do it in style? These are scrub caps from Maine made hats and sweaters. But here's the genius part. She has buttons on them, and this is kind of came about because of COVID. Good morning, Nancy. Nancy is here, and I'm talking about her. She has put buttons on them because, as we learned as the general public during COVID, when you wear masks for long periods of time, it breaks down the back of your ears, and you wind up getting big sores back here just from the constant pressure. So if you are a medical worker, or if you work anywhere where you are required to cover your head at all times, and you have to deal with wearing a mask, I have my hair up in a big ponytail, so this is not going on well. These buttons line up just behind your ear so that you can hook your mask to this. This is going to be tied down and secured to your head with all of your hair under it. So you just hook your mask right here to the buttons, and it no longer breaks down the back of your ears. For anyone who works in the medical field, this is a must-have. If you know someone who works in the medical field or a factory or anywhere like that they are required to keep their head covered, you need to either send them the link to this, or you need to just order them one and send it to them, because this is a game changer of a problem that I don't think most of us knew existed until COVID started, and we all started having to wear masks all the time everywhere. And then we all learned real quick what the reality is of wearing them all the time. So if you have someone in your life who's required by their job to keep their hair covered, they're required to wear a mask, both, doesn't matter. You need to get them at least one of these. I'm going to say 2, one to wear, one to wash, so that they can keep their hair covered in style and they can have a way to take the mask pressure off of their ears. Now, this is a fun one. I had seen these and I had ordered these like from mass producers, but I had not actually dug into handmade reusable sandwich bags until Nancy and I had a conversation. So this is a reusable sandwich bag. Of course, she nailed it with me with the ocean theme. I love this. But from a made point of view, this is a double layer of cotton over a food-safe waterproof liner. The seams are very tight. Yo, I'm nosy. I look. The seams are very, very, very tight. And it has a very strong Velcro. I usually pre-open all my Velcros so you guys don't listen to it. But guys, this is a very, very, very stout Velcro. So you're not going to worry about it falling open. You have a pouch in here that will absolutely hold a sandwich. The little paper is the directions for how to clean it. This is washable. This is hand wash, soapy water, let it air dry. In a pinch, if you have put a sandwich in there with mayonnaise, mustard, whatever, and it has made a mess all over the inside of the bag and you want to go ahead and get the worst of it wiped out, you can wipe it out with hand sanitizer. Now, my brain is going to go to, before I put another sandwich in there, I'm washing it out if I've wiped it out with hand sanitizer. But this will stand up to being spot cleaned for things like that with hand sanitizer. I absolutely adore this. Anytime I show up with a sandwich somewhere, people are going to be like, where'd you get your bag? Because I love it. Oh, Nancy, you nailed it with the ocean theme. My little mermaid heart loves this. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. See, y'all, this is why I love it. When my people come hang out with me, this would also be an amazing gift bag for small gifts, gift cards, things like that. And it's something that they can reuse and keep using that isn't just going to get tossed in the trash. So we're going back to the environmentally friendly, the reusable side of things. I love it. If you take a lunch somewhere every day, which I do at least 2 or 3 days a week, I wind up packing a sandwich to go somewhere, even if I'm eating in my car. This is an amazing way to honestly cheer up your lunchbox. Wouldn't it be more fun to open your lunchbox and find this instead of yet another Ziploc bag or yet another plastic container? So you need these. Definitely thinking stocking stuffer on those. You have got my brain going, my darling. Okay, last but not least today, we have CJO Customs. Hello, Miss Sandra. I haven't seen you in forever. CJO Customs is a sublimation extraordinaire. Now, if you do not know what sublimation is, I am not going to bore you with all of the steps. I've deep dived into it. I thought about doing it. But sublimation is the art of taking a printed photo that is printed with specific ink and specific ways and adhering it to an item. But it's not like a heat transfer where part of it is left behind. The ink actually transfers from the printing to the item. It opens up a world of possibilities of things that you can do. As of right now, CJO Customs sells both the prints so that you can use a heat press and apply them to your own items, and finished products. She also does beaded jewelry. So this keychain is the best of both worlds from her. It is sublimation and it's the beaded jewelry. I love the little beads on this. I like the fact that this is a very light keychain. When you get into sublimation on blanks, it can get heavy. She's made a point to pay attention and get lightweight pieces so that this is not heavy and dragging on you. The sublimation on this says, who said that all mermaids are sweet? It'll focus in a second. The camera and I are having issues this morning in case you missed it. Come on. There we go. Who said all mermaids are sweet? I love this because I am a mermaid at heart and I'm not always the nicest person in the world. So this for me was perfect. She also does earrings and you're going to see everything is beach themed for me. There's a reason. But anything that you want, as long as it is not trademarked or copyrighted, she can do for you. So if beach is not your thing, mountains are. If you're a race fan, whatever it may be, She can do it because sublimation opens up so many doors and such a wide probability. These are her earrings. These are a 2-inch blank. Mine, of course, say Beach Babe. I will tell you again, these are extremely lightweight. I'm always leery of really large earrings. And I say that and y'all going to laugh because you've seen some of the ones I wear on the show. These are very lightweight. They hang well. I don't feel like they're smacking me upside my head the entire time I'm wearing them. So they are definitely a favorite. See if I can find my ears on camera. This is always a fun trick. Y'all would think I know where my ears are, but I don't. They wear well. They're a good size. I mean, these are definitely a statement earring. These are not a subtle earring to wear. They are definitely a statement earring, but I like them. And I like the fact that if Beach Babe is not your thing, it's okay because you can have her do just about anything you want. And business people, what about statement earrings that are your business logo? I mean, I would do it. I would wear them. Would you? The other thing that Christine has introduced me to, I had heard these, I had seen these in passing, but I'd always been like, yeah, whatever, are cup coasters. These say the beach is calling, I must go. But what a cup coaster is, these are actually car coasters. These go in the bottom of your cup holders in your car, so that when your fast food drink sweats in the cup holder, these will kind of soak it up and keep it from puddling and pooling in the bottom and getting that layer of ick. Every time I clean out my car, I pull out my cup holders, I bring them in the house, I scrub them because there's just a layer of where it's been wet and then dust and things. I mean, come on, guys, we're in our car all the time. Accumulates. Well, with these, they stop that from happening because they absorb the liquid. And if this does get funky with these particular ones that she uses, and this is why she chose them, these can be washed, hand washed in your sink, little soap, little hot water, wash them, lay them flat to dry, and pop them back in your car. So car coasters were new to me. I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan. And these are about to go in my car because I want them there. So that is what I have for you guys today on the weekly recap. You guys know I will be back next week to recap everything else that I found. But I want you guys to go check out all of these amazing creators. If you would like to see their full reviews, of course, they are on the YouTube channel. They will be in the most recent videos posted because it's everything I've done in the last 7 days. But I want you to go check them out. I want you to go leave some love on their pages and let them know that people are seeing them. And while you're there, get yourself some cool things. I absolutely think everything that I have recommended to you today, I absolutely stand behind. You guys know this. And I want to see these small businesses grow, which is why I do this. So I am off to drink some coffee and find you some more amazing creators. And I will be back same time next week. Bye, darlings.